My name's Elston Solberg. I'm out here in the middle of some trials at Ag in Motion 2020. Unfortunately, there will be no Ag in Motion, but there are still some amazing trials out here. I'm standing in the middle of some trials that Taurus has implemented here. We've got peas, we've got wheat, we've got canola, and we've got cover crops. But the reason I'm here is I've been involved in a project for the last 5 years, I guess, with South Country. It's called Crop Intelligence, and I'm standing beside the technology that's fundamental to the app that allows growers to watch their water-driven yield potential on a day-by-day basis, and to do that with at least 85 to 90% accuracy, and so that allows them to make in-crop decisions that generates them more confidence and more profitability. And so what you're looking at here is a simple weather station. The guts of this weather station for the purposes of crop intelligence is the rain gauge and the moisture probe, which is right there connected with these cables. The rest of this gizmotology will collect solar radiation, humidity, and a whole bunch of other things that can help fine-tune some of the decisions that growers make. Crop intelligence from day one has always been based on measuring the amount of crop available water in the soil. So that's a moisture probe that's a meter long. We have sensors at 10, 20, 30, 50, 70, and 100 centimeters, and so multiple times a day. The moisture probe is measuring how much crop available water is in the soil. Soil water is just as important, if not more important, than the water that falls out of the sky. Professor Les Henry said here just a year or so ago, water in the soil is like money in the bank. Water in the soil is a certainty, precipitation's a probability, and if you think about that, that's a pretty profound statement. So we're measuring how much water's in the soil, we're measuring how much water falls out of the sky, but what we're also doing, based on 30-year normal data, is we know how much water to expect over the next period of time until harvest. And so what that does is it generates, for a grower in the fields that he has these probes, and this system, it allows him to figure out what his water-driven yield potential is on a daily basis. And what that does is it allows him or her to pull triggers in season or not pull triggers in season that generate more income, more profitability, and most importantly, more confidence. So that's kind of the synopsis, where we've got a moisture probe that's measuring the amount of crop available water in the soil. We've got a rain gauge that's measuring the amount of water that's falling out of the sky, and then based on 30-year normal data, we know what's going to happen to the end of the season, and that's giving us a trend of whether our yields are positive, neutral, or negative. And of course, the decisions that are based on yield goals are quite different for those three scenarios, and that's essentially the guts of it. Crop intelligence takes a whole whack of information that comes off of these probes that can be very, very confusing if you don't know what the data looks like or what it means. Turns it into a very simple algorithm that spits out the water-driven yield potential on a multiple time per day basis, and growers can respond to that in real time and make big differences on their farm.
What's that fancy device in the water collector there? Right here in front of you.
Oh, this here?
Yeah.
These things? Well, those things keep birds from sitting on here and pooping and screwing up the tipping rain bucket. So one of the things that, the main thing that screws up this tipping rain bucket is bird poop.
Well, you've worked out the bugs, I guess, in some of the problems in the field.